beside them, and the sunlight reflected across the water in bright, dancing patterns. Claire felt lighter with every step, as if the weight she had carried for so long was slowly beginning to fade. Daniel picked up a small stone and tossed it lightly into the water, watching the ripples spread outward. "I used to try skipping these across the lake," he said with a small grin. Claire laughed softly. "You were never very good at it." "That's not true," Daniel replied with playful confidence. "I just needed more practice." They both smiled, enjoying the simple moment as they continued walking. Claire noticed something she hadn't paid attention to in years: the beauty of the place around her. The tall trees swaying gently in the breeze, the sound of birds flying overhead, and the peaceful rhythm of the lake itself. It reminded her of how life used to feel before grief had filled her days. Daniel suddenly slowed his steps. "Mom," he said gently. Claire turned toward him. "I'm really glad you came here today," he continued. "I know things haven't been easy for either of us." His words carried a quiet honesty that touched her heart. "I'm glad to," she replied. "It feels like we haven't had a moment like this in a long time, Daniel. Maybe we should do it more often," he suggested. "Not just here, but anywhere. Just spend time together." Claire thought about that for a moment. For years, both of them had been moving through life separately, each dealing with their grief in their own way. They had lived in the same world, but rarely stopped long enough to truly reconnect. But today felt different. "I'd like that," she said. They reached a small clearing along the shore where the trees opened up, allowing sunlight to pour down onto the sand. Claire paused there, looking out across the water. For the first time in years, the future didn't feel empty. Daniel stood beside her, hands in his pockets, quietly watching the lake. "You know," he said after a moment, "Dad always said this place had a way of bringing people back to themselves." Claire smiled softly at the memory. "He was right," she said. A gentle breeze passed between them, carrying the scent of pine trees and fresh water. And as they stood there together, Claire realized something important. Healing didn't always come from big changes or dramatic moments. Sometimes it began with something simple: a walk by the lake, an honest conversation, and the quiet presence of someone who truly cared. Neither of them knew what the rest of the day would bring, but for the first time in a long time, both Claire and Daniel felt ready to face it. Sometimes the quietest moments change our lives the most, and on that peaceful morning by the lake, Claire realized that healing often begins with simply being together.